Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bakes, and thank you for joining me for day number 12 of my 31 Days of Horror. Today's movie is a sequel from a couple of years back. To be fair, one that not a lot of people loved, but I actually kind of like this movie, and I'll get into my deeper thoughts as we go. But today's film is Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Obviously, the sequel to Escape Room that I want to say came out 2019, somewhere around there. And a lot of people really liked the first Escape Room movie. I think it was just the fact it caught everyone off guard. Normally, January released horror movies aren't the greatest, and to be fair, it didn't look like anything too exciting from trailers and whatever, but ended up being a lot of fun. And I think with that, it sort of set the bar maybe a little too high for this movie. And not to say it doesn't hit a mark for myself, but I guess it didn't hit the mark for a lot of other people. But I was really excited to give this one a rewatch actually because I feel like not too long ago I actually went back and watched the first one, so yeah, I was eager to check this one out again. So let's get into the plot for Escape Room Tournament of Champions before we get into my deeper thoughts of it. So the plot for this one, the two survivors from the first movie, Zoe and Ben, are now trying to track down Minos, the organization that do these escape rooms that, kill people, and they end up finding themselves back in the game. But what do all the competitors have in common this time round? They are past winners of Minos escape rooms. So now it's a Tournament of Champions, given the title. So let's get into my thoughts of Escape Room Tournament of Champions from 2021. So as I briefly said in my intro, I actually really do like this movie, so I guess we'll start with the positives today. First of all, I feel like we had a good lineup of characters again in this movie. I feel like that's another reason why a lot of people liked the first Escape Room. 6 great characters with a variety of different personalities. Put them in this escape room where it's a matter of life and death, and it just really worked for that movie, and it was really enjoyable. And I feel like, again, we have a great lineup of 6 characters in this one. Of course, there are going to be moments with character decisions that sort of make you scratch your head and think, okay, that was a bit of a dick move, a little bit selfish, but you come to expect it with a movie like this. Overall, I really enjoyed the 6 characters that we had put in the escape room. If I had to pick a least favourite, it would probably be her, the influencer. I just found her to be slightly annoying. But it also really helped that we had Ben and Zoe return from the first movie. I just really enjoyed them in the first one, and they were awesome in this one again as well. It was obvious they were going to return. They're essentially our main characters, and they were the only survivors. But staying on Zoe for a second, because she's played by Taylor Russell, and I feel like Taylor Russell really deserves her flowers because, one, I find her to be insanely underrated and also just super talented, and she's definitely one of my favourite up-and-coming actresses working at the moment. When I saw her in the first Escape Room movie, I believe that was the first time I saw Taylor Russell in anything. I was blown away. I'm like, she's really fucking good in this movie. Almost like too good for an escape room movie. Like, I'm not hanging shit on that film or anything, but she was just really fucking strong, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna see her, in a really fucking amazing movie one day. And she was in Bones and All last year and fucking destroyed that movie. She did such a great job, so she does a great job in this one again. I just feel like Taylor Russell definitely deserves her flowers, and she does a great job playing Zoe, our lead, in this one as well. The first 10 minutes of this movie is just a lot of refreshing the audience of what happened in the first one, and it comes through the way of flashbacks and also just through dialogue. And honestly, it does feel like a little bit too much. Like, we already know what happened in the first movie, and, even if you just need a quick reminder, it does feel like a little too much for 10 minutes. It's just all shoved in there, and it just almost overwhelming. But once that first 10 minutes is over, it gets right into the action, like, really quick, like, surprisingly quick. They're in the first challenge of the escape room in, like, a matter of, like, maybe 15 minutes. Like, it's crazy. And the movie just flies by from there. It's almost like blink and it's over. Like, this movie takes no time to get going. And as I said, like, even once they're in the actual building doing the escape rooms, they go from room to room like that. And yeah, the pace of this movie just works really well for me. You never feel like there's downtime in this movie, and I just feel like it works in this film's favour. Now to the main reason why a lot of people watch these movies, the actual escape room and the puzzles and the challenges themselves. I find them again to be really strong in this movie. They're a lot of fun to sort of play along with, and you'll find yourself looking around the room with the characters like thinking, oh fucking try this, and I don't know, I just find it to be a lot of fun. Some of the rooms in this one, like, I actually found myself like figuring things out before the characters, and I don't know, I just found that to be really enjoyable. Also, like the themes of the rooms, there's always plenty of stuff to look at. I just find it to be really entertaining. You do have to partially suspend your disbeliefs with this movie, just like the first one, but probably more so in this one, especially because of the fact that this elaborate escape room is set up underground in New York, like borderline impossible, especially if you know the scale that these escape rooms are set on. You do have to suspend your disbelief, but I feel like personally it's worth suspending your disbelief because the results are just a lot of fun and a lot of entertainment, and I feel like it's worth it, you know. So now that I've gone through a handful of my positives and things that I like about this movie, now it's time to get into the negatives and honestly a few plot holes that I think I've found in this movie. But for me to talk about them, I do also got to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie before, or just don't want any spoilers in general, now's probably the best time to leave my video, or better yet, skip ahead to my final thoughts and ratings at the end of the video. But either way, I'm going to get into spoilers now, so just putting that warning out there. Don't say you weren't prepared if I give something away. The first plot hole that I find in this movie starts with the acid rain room. What that is, there's this room that's set up like the streets of New York, and I think it's like every minute, maybe 90 seconds or so, acid rain starts falling on our contestants, and that's sort of the gist of the room. But I feel like that room is realistically only designed for one survivor, which first of all I think is unfair, because all of the previous rooms, not just in this movie, even the movie before, there is a chance for everyone to survive a room. Now, the formula is normally one person dies per room, but there is always a chance for everyone to survive. In this one, there are 3 people left, and as I said, it's set up so realistically there's only meant to be one survivor. And that one survivor needs to be Zoe. And I'll tell you why it needs to be Zoe, and this is where the plot hole and the twist sort of comes into play, so this is where the spoilers are. Zoe needs to be the one who survives this room, because when she leaves the acid room, she meets the twist villain of this film, which is Amanda. Now, if you don't remember who Amanda is, she was one of the contestants in the first escape room movie who apparently died. She was actually kept alive by Minos so that she could design this new escape room that our contestants are going through in this movie. Now, this is the reason why it needed to be Zoe. Sorry, I'm rambling and everything. This is the reason why it needed to be Zoe. Because if anyone else got to where Zoe is now, where she's face to face with Amanda, they don't know who Amanda is. They're just like, who is this chick? Zoe's the only one who was left alive that actually knew who Amanda was. They formed this relationship together in the first movie. They sort of knew each other's backstories. All the rooms in this movie were designed after Amanda's life, and Zoe was piecing that together. No one else had a clue, so if anyone else got to the point that Zoe did, they would have been completely clueless. Now, another thing that's a plot hole, continuing on from this, is Amanda says that Minos wants Zoe to take over Amanda's role and build the next set of escape rooms. Zoe's like, no, I'm not doing it, and they use Ben as blackmail. Again, this is why Zoe needed to be the only ones to be at this stage, and I find it to be a plot hole, because what if someone else made it to that stage? Did they have someone else prepared as blackmail for each contender? Like, was it just always going to be Ben? I feel like it just doesn't make sense. It needed to be Zoe. Like, if someone else made it to that stage and they blackmailed them with Ben, I don't think they would care as much. It needed to be Zoe. I've always just thought that it's a plot hole. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. If you can explain it, maybe something's gone over my head, go for it. But I feel like it is a plot hole in this movie. But moving on from the plot holes, my biggest negative with this movie is honestly the last 5 minutes. They throw in another little twist at the end, like sort of one of those kickers that leaves you with a twist in your stomach or whatever. I feel like that very end is honestly a bit bullshit. I feel like it's just kind of dumb, and from what I've heard, a lot of people agree with me. I think the last 5 minutes is just stupid. And not only do I think it's bullshit and stupid, it's a little bit disappointing because it leaves a lot open for a third film that I'm not even sure we're going to get. I've heard nothing about a third movie. You know, as I said, Taylor Russell's just becoming a bigger star now. I'm not sure if she would come back for a third escape room movie. Yeah, it just leaves a lot open for a third film I'm not even sure if we're going to get. So as I wrap up my review of Escape Room Tournament of Champions, I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I'd love to see more of these movies. Give us like a Saw-like franchise, like just constantly have like new rooms, new puzzles, have new people running the show. As I said, Amanda was taken in to make these set of rooms. She was trying to win over Zoe. Have someone else running the show behind the scenes, you know, like have a Saw-like franchise like that. And even on top of that, turn it a bit more gory. You know, one of our contenders in this movie, I don't know the name of the condition, but she can't feel any pain. And when she did her set of rooms, she was with 5 other people that couldn't feel any pain. And she was talking about how fucked up those puzzles were. Show us something like that, you know, take it to the next level. I just want to see more of these movies. Give me more, you know, as I said, change up the puzzle maker. I just want to see more escape room movies. As I said, I know I'm probably in the minority. I know a lot of people have probably forgotten about this film and the first escape room, but I just find these to be fun. I feel like Escape Room Tournament of Champions got too much hate. I still really like the first escape room, but I feel like this one is definitely the one to get overlooked. So wrapping it up, I'm going to give Escape Room Tournament of Champions a 7.5. I genuinely really like this movie a lot. As I said, I feel like it gets too much hate, but if you've seen this movie, let me know your thoughts on it, guys. And, you know, as I said, I feel like there are plot holes in this movie. I did my best to try and explain them. I rambled a lot. But if I'm just not thinking right, you know, clear up those plot holes if they actually do make sense and everything. But I really do feel like it needed to be... I'm going to stop talking just in case you did skip over the spoilers. But, yeah, thank you for joining me, guys, for day number 12. And I'll see you tomorrow for day number 13. Peace.